Well, good morning there to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here this morning. I've got to talk about it. I was going to wait till Saturday, but I figured, no, I'm going to talk about it this morning because it needs to be addressed. The Kansas Jayhawks men's basketball team suffered a major blow last night. It all started when Oklahoma upset Kansas 81-68 last night in Norman. And with that loss, the Kansas Jayhawks are now mathematically eliminated from any chance of the Big 12 championship. For the first time in 14 years, we will have a new Big 12 champion. There will be Kansas will not be able to share the crown or nothing like that. It is official. We will have a new undisputed champion of the Big 12. No matter what happens, Kansas is down and out of it. And that's all there is to it. But a lot of you people are asking me this morning, what happened? What happened? What caused the Jayhawks implosion? Now, a lot of you are going to be thinking, they're going to point to the basic thing. Udaka Azubuike's hand injury which put him out for the rest of the season. But there are some other things that came to mind when I thought about this morning after what happened with Kansas last night. I had to think about it this morning, and I came up with a few other answers. Now, yes, Udaka Azubuike's hand injury, which put him out for the season. That's one of the amazing reasons why the Jayhawks lost the Big 12 title. But there's a few other things. Bill Self, he has a young defensive group, about a lot of young guards. That killed him right there. How about this? Sylvia DeSousa's ineligibility. That hurt the Jayhawks plenty right there. Remember back when his guardians accepted impermissible benefits from a booster, which turned out to be a Nike employee, and they had tried to pay him off to go play for Kansas? That's not allowed by the NCAA rules. So there's another thing you can think about right there. Try this one on for size. The Jayhawks road record. Oh my. Kansas was 3-6 on the road in Big 12 play. I mean, they lost to West Virginia. They lost to Kansas State. I mean, they lost to Texas. All those losses came on the road. They almost blew it against Oklahoma State on Saturday. That's something to think about there, too. But what about Marcus Garrett? He suffered some injuries. He was hurt, too. But the main reason was Udaka Azubuike. He was the main reason why the Jayhawks lost the Big 12 championship. And something else to think about, too. Is the Big 12 getting better? Was the Big 12 better, or was Kansas not that bad? I got to be honest with you. I think it was a combination of both. Think about it. Texas Tech, Jared Culver, David Morietti. And what about Kansas State? The Wildcats came out of nowhere. Barry Brown Jr., Xavier Sneed, Dean Wade, they stepped up. The competition in the Big 12 this year was a lot better than in years past. This wasn't the Kansas Jayhawks show and Bill Self like we got to know it. No. The Big 12 was better this year. Now, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it. Whoever wins the Big 12 between Kansas State and Texas Tech, they're going to earn it. Right now, Kansas State, they're the team that's in the driver's seat. And Texas Tech, they still can take the Big 12 championship away. But I'm going to say this right now. The Big 12, the competition was better this year. I mean, you have Kansas State and Texas Tech fighting it out for the Big 12 crown now. We had Baylor. They were in the mix of it for a while. Iowa State, for a little bit there, they had a shot at it. But a couple bad losses really hurt their chances. And that's all there is to it. And folks, I'm going to say it now. Sylvia DeSousa, the Guardian, you don't take impermissible benefits from a booster. You don't do that. Now, DeSousa is not eligible for this season, and he can't even play at all next season because of it. There's another reason why the Jayhawks lost the Big 12 crown. I wouldn't be surprised if DeSousa leaves the school. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go pro. But that's going to kill his chances right there, too. But a lot of people, not besides the Azubuike injury, a lot of people are pointing to to the Jayhawks' road record in the Big 12. 3-6 on the road in Big 12 play. That's one of the main reasons. That's what killed Kansas right there. Some of those games I watched. Now I didn't get much of a chance to see the Kansas-Oklahoma game last night because I had another commitment late into the night. But I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, Kansas, they lost to West Virginia. West Virginia ain't going nowhere. Oh, Huggy Bear Bob Huggins, they're not going anywhere. Texas, they're not going to be in the NCAA tournament. They're going to be out. They're going to be down and out. Oklahoma, they might get into the NCAA tournament. Baylor, Iowa State. If you think about it, the game against Iowa State early and back in January, that's when this whole thing all started with the Jayhawks going downhill. That's how it all started. Then it was just a domino effect. Lose to Kansas State on the road. Lose to Texas Tech on the road. And I mean, last night, the loss to Oklahoma was the final nail in Kansas's coffin. The Kansas Big 12 winning streak ended at 14 last night. There's going to be a new sheriff in town when it comes to the Big 12 regular season. Now, the Jayhawks can still win the Big 12 tournament. Don't get me wrong. However, the Big 12 tournament is in Kansas City. And you know what? The Jayhawks' road record, it has been bad. I mean, I know it's neutral site. I understand that. But as bad as the Jayhawks have played on the road, 3-6 in Big 12 play, they don't stand a chance in the Big 12 tournament. I'm sorry. And the other night I said it. I went with Texas Tech to win the Big 12. They're going to win the Big... Now, either Texas Tech or Kansas State is going to win the Big 12 regular season. But the Big 12 tournament is another story. I understand that. But the Jayhawks have struggled on the road, and I can't mark them down as a favorite to win the Big 12 tournament. I can't. Because on the road, they've been pathetic. 3-6 in Big 12 conference games. Their Big 12 conference record on the road is only 3-6. The Jayhawks played unvaried Kansas-like basketball on the road. That's all there is to it. And then when you got Sylvia DeSouza ineligible to play, you got Udaka Azubuike, who got hurt early in the year, and he got hurt, and he was out for the season. It was just a domino effect. That's why the Jayhawks are not going to be the Big 12 regular season champions. It's down to Texas Tech and Kansas State. One of those two is going to win the Big 12. I made my prediction. I said it was going to be Texas Tech all the way. I'm sticking with it, and I'm going to stick with it all the way to the end. And ladies and gentlemen, I know it's kind of odd that I'm hooting and hollering this early in the morning, but you need to understand where I'm coming from. The Big 12 championship, the regular season crown, is either Manhattan, Kansas is going to be celebrating, or people in Lubbock, Texas are going to be celebrating by the end of the weekend, because one of those two will win the Big 12 title. If they wind up sharing it, so be it. But the bottom line is this. The Kansas Jayhawks, they played awful on the road. Their road record hurt them. Azubuike hurt. That hurt them big time. Sylvia DeSouza not being eligible to play, that hurt them too. And the Kansas guards and the Kansas defense was not that. They were allowing baskets right and left. I mean, I watched that game against. I think it was either Texas Tech or Kansas State. I don't remember which one. When Texas Tech humiliated Kansas 91-62. I haven't forgotten about that either. I'm sticking with Texas Tech to win the Big 12 regular season. And I'm probably going to go with Texas Tech to win the Big 12 crown, to win the Big 12 tournament, and get that automatic berth. They're already a lock. Texas Tech is a lock for the tournament. Don't get me wrong. However, when it comes down to it, if you stop and think about it, I'm going with Texas Tech to win the Big 12 regular season and the Big 12 champion and the Big 12 conference tournament. And the conference tournament starts next week. So there's a lot to digest there. But I'm telling you, the Kansas Jayhawks are down and out. And it was proven last night in that road loss to Oklahoma. And that's as far as I'm going here this morning. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for taking a few minutes with me here this morning. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name down, scroll down, look for this pretty face, click subscribe, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done so far. I want to thank you guys for taking the time with me here this morning. You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Goodbye, everybody, and